Hello, everybody. Welcome back to this episode of the Gravette Sports Podcast. I'm Brody Bohannon.
I'm Pierce Elsey.
Cash May.
I'm Jackson Hand.
And we got a brand new episode with some hoops coming at you. We're going to go over some scores from last week and yesterday as we were recording this. Boys and girls went to West Fork. The girls took a hard loss, 46-41. I did not attend these games, so I really don't know how they went. So tell us a little bit on that girls' game. I know y'all didn't get to watch the whole game, but maybe what y'all did see in that first half that y'all did.
I saw Kinley Harris go to town. She had a lot of rebounds. She just played a great game. So from what I saw,
Yeah, she did. From what I could tell, we ran plays well. We rebounded really well, obviously, because of Kinley's part. I really think that this was a good game on both ends. I think that West Fork just happened to come out on top. That's what I think.
yeah. At the end of it, but at the end of it, I think it was like 2 minutes left on last check. The score, we were down 12. Then we cut it to like 3 or something at the end of the game. So
Yeah, I think turnovers killed them. I saw a lot of turnovers and just like mental lapses. I mean, they played harder than I think I've seen them play so far.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And overall, they executed pretty well, but there was just a lot of mental lapses that cost them that game.
Yeah, I agree.
And
Shot selection, turnovers.
Yeah. And in the boys' game, the boys took a loss 69-55. And from my understanding, everybody on Gravette was in a shooting slump that night.
Yeah, it wasn't great. Plays on offense ran well, but nobody could shoot the ball. Defense, West Fork was getting everything they wanted. We made number 3 look way better than he actually was, as he had 4 or 5 threes in like the first quarter, I think. And overall, just not our best game, but looking for a bounce back.
yeah, I agree. We were running the plays, working perfectly. We just couldn't hit those wide open shots that they were giving us. So we definitely need to work on that. But
Yeah, I mean, they ran the triangle and 2, and we've just struggled to figure out the triangle and 2 all year. They ran it differently than Ozark Catholic, because that Ozark Catholic game was a rough game, and we did not see the triangle and 2 coming. We weren't ready for it, but going into West Fork, we thought we were ready for it. But instead of putting one of the 2 guys on Jackson, they put a guy on Kais. And, I mean, we executed pretty well, but just nobody could hit shots. It was just a terrible shooting game.
the thing is about the triangle and 2 is they'll deny your 2 best players. And when 2 of your best players are getting denied, it's kind of hard. It's just like, it was kind of just like a hectic night.
Yeah.
It was. And eventually, I feel like the shooting, eventually from what I noticed, I don't know the actual rebounding, like stats. I don't know how many rebounds we had compared to them. But it seems like at one point, from just sitting on the bench and watching, there was one point in the game where we had a hard time being physical, getting boards, and then, letting people get what they want on offense, obviously, like letting the big guys drive to the basket. If he's a driver, we'd let him drive. If he's shot, he let it fly. I just feel like I don't even feel like the scoring part was our problem, because we still put up 50. I think the defense was our biggest problem, in my opinion, because of the fact that we let them score so much when we shouldn't have, really.
I agree with that, actually.
Yeah. I mean, they had a lot of great sets to get 4 open. He was a great shooter, but, I mean, we knew it was coming. We knew exactly what sets were coming.
Yeah.
And we just could not stop him. Like, we couldn't have good closeouts. We let him get open. They were tough shots, but he was able to get them off. And we just had a hard time taking away their sets, taking away their stars. And, yeah, I mean, going back to the triangle and 2, it just killed us. Basically just took me and Kais completely out of the game. Pretty much face guarded us anywhere inside 30 feet. Just didn't let us catch the ball. It was pretty frustrating, I think, for all of us to deal with that, but we're going to see that a lot going forward, so we're going to have to figure that out.
Yeah.
And yesterday, boys and girls are playing in the Adair Oklahoma tournament this week. Their next games will be on Friday, by the way. Couldn't really find any scores on who they're playing. It will either be Adair or Dewey. But yesterday, both boys and girls played Wyandotte, a small school out of Oklahoma. Girls came out with the win, 53-30. I know you guys probably didn't get to watch much of that game, but it just seemed to be that we were a lot better than them.
Parker Pittman was shooting the lights out of the basketball.
You mean Palmer?
No, Parker.
Parker
really?
and Palmer. Both.
And both of them.
Both.
Palmer knocked down a good amount.
They were
like 4
shooting
or
the
5.
lights out of the basketball.
Yeah, they did. They had a really good game.
Size differential with Kinley Harris down low, obviously getting rebounds like she usually does. It was a well-played game. I really think they're getting into their groove.
I agree, and I think a big factor that helped them out too with getting that groove is forced turnovers. They forced a lot of turnovers yesterday, from what I saw, and just good defense too. They made it to where Wyandotte couldn't run their plays very well. I could tell because their coach was very loud.
Yeah.
I heard a lot of "what are we doings" from their coach, and that tells me that they were doing good on defense. So yeah, that was very funny to me.
The press. I mean, Wyandotte could not figure out that press. I mean, I can't remember if it was a zone or a run and jump, but whatever it was, I mean, it killed them. Forced a lot of turnovers and sped them up, and they just couldn't keep up with the speed of the game. I think Arkansas schools playing Oklahoma schools is always an interesting game because the speed of the game, because of the shot clock in Arkansas, is so much faster. And a lot of those games end up being lower scoring in Oklahoma than in Arkansas because the game is just so much more sped up in Arkansas.
I agree.
I think the girls were scrappier than the other team. They were more physical, and that's really what helped them win the game as well.
Yeah.
I agree.
And the boys also took on Wyandotte, took a hard loss, 45-35, and in this game it just seemed to be that turnovers was the deciding factor, and it came back to bite Gravette.
Yeah. Turnovers was a big problem. I think another big problem was kind of the same as West Fork on defense, just giving everybody what they wanted at some point. I wouldn't say it was often as West Fork was, but I definitely saw it occasionally.
That was one of those, just like I talked about, a lower scoring game, 45-35. I don't know if we've had any games like that this year.
I don't think so.
That was probably the lowest scoring game for us. I mean, the turnovers honestly killed us. We had 19 turnovers.
And it was just their 2-3, like you see it every year, your 2-3 full court press.
Wasn't even the triangle and two.
Yeah, it was a 2-1. It was a 2-1-2.
2-1-2, and they had a 2-2-1.
Yeah.
They switched it up, and then sometimes they'd go with the 2-1-2, and they'd run it in the half court and trap in the half court. The 2-3 was they extended it out a lot. It was more of like a pressure 2-3, like almost just a half court trap. And I mean, I think we had less than 10 assists, 19 turnovers, and we just could not hit the high lows. We couldn't hit anything. We couldn't get the ball moving quickly. I mean, to beat a zone, you have to reverse the ball quickly, and you have to get the ball inside the high post. You have to get to the middle of it, and we just weren't able to do that. And we weren't able to hit shots from the outside, so it just wasn't a good recipe to win.
Exactly what I was going to say.
That probably explains because I saw Gravette score 35 points, and I'm like, what on earth happened? But, as you said, 19 turnovers. That is 19 missed opportunities to score, which is really going to come back to bite you. So we got to figure out how to take care of the ball before Friday because, as you get onto the tournament, the teams are probably going to get better and better. So hopefully you guys can fix that. What are some adjustments that y'all are maybe going to need to, look with going into Friday? Don't know who y'all are facing yet, but I assume that they will be a challenging team.
We have to play as a team.
Yeah.
It's kind of like last year's team they ran their plays so well. They ran them to a T, and they worked. Like, we have to play as a team. We have to be way more physical, get every loose ball. We've been losing that. We're losing the loose ball. Like, we haven't been getting turnovers. We need to quit turning the ball over. We just need to play more scrappy as a team.
I think that we're really talented, and you can argue that we could be the most talented team in the conference. But, I mean, as much as you don't want to admit it, we're not the most talented team in the state. Like, we're not gonna win games and go far and make a run at the state tournament just off of talent. It's gonna be off of, like Pierce said, like scrappy, just playing harder than the other team. Like, we have to want it more, and I feel like honestly we just don't have that right now. We're just struggling with that right now.
And as you said, going on into state, I remember an Ozark team didn't have the height, didn't have the shooting really, didn't have any talent. They were just so scrappy and physical that they beat a really, really good P. Ridge basketball team.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was the regionals, actually.
It was regional tournament, yes,
And
first round.
It's crazy. But, like, they are just scrappy and physical, and they knew how to play as a team, and I feel like that's the team that we are going to have to be this year.
I agree. We need a mental shift, and I think that it's coming soon. I definitely think it's coming soon because I'm seeing the guys rally together in practice, in group chats. I'm seeing the guys start to kind of click and be like, you know what, we need to fix this, and I'm looking forward to it.
I agree. We thank you guys for listening to this episode. Next week, we should have the final updates on the Adair tournament with results and scores. And then looking on to the next week. We thank you guys for listening. And as always, tune in next week. We'll see you guys later.